Ladies and gentlemen, this one is a no-gi match with IBJJF rules.
Okay, so this is an interesting one. So we've got a no-gi match, but it's not the rules that we've had for the other no-gi matches, I believe. IBJJF rules for brown belts, as black belts as well, which means that they will be able to do knee bars, they will be able to do twisting footlocks, they won't be able to do heel hooks, and they won't be able to reap the knee. Okay, so that's the big difference from the other no-gi fights we've seen so far on this card. Alex has missed the cherry picker on the back of his pants. Some sort of inside joke. I'd like to know the story too.
This fight, both good wrestlers. I know Alex is very good at deep half guard. Seen him compete before. I wonder whether this will pan out like the Richard Kaplan Jack Mason fight, where they're both looking for that perfect shot. And
I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't take 8 minutes for us to get to the floor. And to be honest with you, I don't think it is. They look a lot more aggressive with their movement and their takedowns. Look, already looking for ankle picks, already looking for arm drags. The difference between this and the Rich Kaplan fight was that they were tying up with each other a lot more. And they weren't engaging, they weren't shooting. These guys are keeping a little bit of distance, which kind of implies that they're going to look to try and move in and shoot, just like Lee Amber is looking to do here. I've seen Lee Amber fight before. He's a beast, man, and you know both these guys are going to bring it. And I imagine that if it gets, if they really get comfortable and get into it, feed each other out, this is going to be a very dynamic fight. I'm just hoping that we can get there without waiting too long.
I think Lee fought last time with like some broken bone or fractured bone. He fought last time with that, and fair play to him. He's a tough guy and always looking to fight and better himself.
Nice, looking to trip the leg up there. It's very different from that last match that we had. They're a lot more aggressive, looking to attack high and low with the upper body, with the lower body. I don't think we're going to have to wait quite as long. The question will be, if this goes a couple more minutes without someone successfully performing a takedown, is someone going to pull guard? That is the question you're always wondering. Some people just come in with a game plan. The game plan is to get on top, to wrestle, to dictate where the fight goes, and they just have no intention. They're not going to deviate from the plan. They're not going to pull guard. And I think that you need to have a little flexibility on a show like this, where winning is, I think is equal to putting on a good, entertaining fight for the people watching in the audience, for the people who are watching on Flow Grappling. So if it ain't happening standing up, let's see what your back game's like. Let's see you pull guard and look to sweep or submit from there.
Lee Ambler's going to tell him to change level. I think that's very important because Alex is a little bit shorter, so he has to match the head height. And if he changes level, he'll probably open up a good double leg or an ankle pick for himself, which he's trying to do. So we've got Lee looking for the ankle pick and Alex looking for the arm drag. So it's just who can enforce their game plan better.
Accidental slap to the face there.
Something we might be seeing in future EBI events.
Only on the ground though, so it's like normal wrestling standing, and then when you hit the ground, you just slap the hell out of each other.
Man, I've been in some matches where I just want to slap the person.
I'm going to see if I can get a fight with AJ. AJ's connected to Flow Grappling actually, so someone might tell him about this. AJ, I'd like to slap you. So if you
AJ is no stranger to a bit of MMA.
Okay, so finally we hit the ground. Lee Ambler on top. He's just got the foot on the inside. He's trying to knee through that guard pass. He's got the underhook. Nice guard pass here. See how he's using his right hand to underhook that head. That's not going to allow Alex to underhook him and come around to the back. That's very important no-gi when it's very slippery.
Yeah, in no-gi, I think underhooks are so important. Way more important than anything else.
Right elbow to the mat. Alex, right elbow to the mat.
See how Alex is trying to come out the back, but with Lee Ambler having that underhook. Okay, he needs to be very careful here. Look, he's looking. Okay,
Lee Ambler's trained a lot of catch wrestling with Lee Johnson, so I believe this is a catch wrestling hold.
okay. So this is a scarf hold, a traditional scarf hold, opposed to a modified scarf hold where his right arm would be underhooking like he had before. Now the difference with this is that this allows you to have good control over the head and the arm that's still on the inside to attack it with the legs, but it allows the person to take their other arm. So in this case, it's going to take Alex's left arm and use it to underhook Lee and look to come out the back door.
So explain this. If he was to grab the legs, would it be an illegal move?
If Lee was to grab his leg here,
Yeah,
to do like a neck crank?
Yeah.
Well, if it was actually if it was a holding position, then fine. If it was an actual neck crank, then yeah, technically it would be illegal under IBJJF. What I want to see Alex doing is using that right arm, come out the back, and try and shrug himself down the body and use it to come around to the back. Right now he's just flat on his back and he's holding his arm. So what?
Lee's got a lot of pressure keeping him flat on his back.
Yeah, but also what Alex is doing, Alex doesn't want his right arm to deviate too far away from his body, because if it does, then it will be susceptible to a straight arm bar or to an Americana with the legs. So he's holding on with the other hand. So that's almost allowing Lee to control the underhook whilst having an overhook. Because the only reason you control the underhook is to stop the opponent underneath from reaching behind and using it to take the back. But because Alex is holding his hands together, it's not making any difference. Okay, now his hand comes around the back, and that's, in my opinion, what he wants to do. But you see how scared he is that Lee is going to be setting something up with that other arm. If I was Alex, I'm using that, yes, exactly. I'm using that underhook round the back to come around, use that. This is what he should have been doing. Instead of trying to hold onto that other hand, using that to come out to the back. Lee sees that he doesn't have any control, opens up the position, and Alex is able to get the half guard. That's what he should be doing from the start.
At least it created a scramble, and I think from these positions when you're being dominated, even to create a scramble is a positive movement.
Yeah. What it was is Alex knew what to do with that arm, but he feared the isolated arm, the other arm. He feared that it was going to be attacked so much that he gave up his ability to come round to the back with the free arm to hold on to that arm he was worried about. As soon as he lost that fear and he felt that his isolated arm was safe, he used it, and it paid off big, because now he's in half guard and he can actually do something.
Science.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Alex Salisbury look to come underneath from half guard and look to set up a, well, he can't do it now.
Such control of the head. Lee's got great control of the head.
Same position again. He's obviously really likes this position. This time Alex is doing everything right. Instead of worrying about that arm, he's coming straight out to the back.
Nice.
And look at the position he's ended up in.
A little bit too high, but still.
A bit too much, and this is what I was going to say. Expect these guys, or expect Alex when he's underneath half guard, expect him to come up and try and roll underneath and attack the knee bar of attack the knee of Lee Ambler. Same position again. Alex is doing what he was doing before. He's holding onto the hand. He's worried about the submission. I want to know why Lee keeps going to this scarf hold instead of using a stronger, in my opinion, and safer positionally modified scarf hold.
Lee would be more comfortable from this old scarf hold, with his background, with the catch wrestling he's trained.
Background in catch wrestling or not, you cannot, it doesn't matter what you're good at, this is not a strong position as modified scarf with the underhook when it comes to controlling. He's done this twice now. How close to getting a submission was he those other two times? Now, I'm not saying that he can't get a submission from here. What I'm saying is that it hasn't been successfully in the past. So are you going to keep on trying to do the same thing over and over again? A third time now. You've got to start listening to what I'm saying. He's way better off when you're on top there to control the position with an underhook than you are trying to hold on to that scarf hold position and work some catch wrestling. You've seen that 3 times now.
I guess it comes down to what he's trained in the gym. You know, if he's trained that a lot in the gym, it's going to come out when he's under pressure.
I train both of these positions. Okay, I like the scarf hold position without the underhook. I like that for submissions. But when it comes to controlling, it cannot match up to when you have the underhook. 3 times he lost the position because he was too hungry on that scarf hold position, and now he's stuck underneath side control. And he's been dominant the whole time so far. This is a shame for him. .45 seconds left.
Whoop.
Alex Salisbury sits back for a footlock there and just slips off. Lee's in a good position now. He's got control of the head. Is he going to sit backwards for something? No. when Alex was on his knees, he could have sat backwards for a guillotine or a Peruvian necktie or something
Peruvian
like that.
necktie in the beginning.
Once Alex sits onto his back, he loses the ability to sit back and sit up.
He's
Same
gone straight
position
back
again.
into it. I believe this is just how he's trained in the gym, and you know, maybe for the next fight he can work with the arm in as well. In the modified
He's going
style
for it.
hold.
He's going for it. Alex, do the same thing you did before. Use that underhook. He uses the underhook. He loses the position for a 4th time.
No.
A 4th time. You have to learn from your mistakes in the match. 4 times because he didn't control the position. Look, respect to him. He's submission hungry, and he obviously has a favourite sub from there, and he's going for it. But you've got to be smart. You've got to control the position first. He dominated that, and yet he's going to EBI time. You can hear Lee starting off in the dominant position EBI. You can hear his coach shouting, take the back, take the back.
With them longer limbs, I think it's better to
be tight before you start. The thing is, he's got the longer limbs, but Alex looks like the stockier, more powerful fighter. Alex in a very good position now. If he gets his hip to the floor, then he's either going to be able to turn into the close guard or half guard, or force Lee Ambler to come into mount. Either of these things ends the overtime. That's done. That was a fast escape. Now, yes, you're right. Alex has the shorter limbs, but if he gets into the correct position and he holds on and doesn't allow Lee to get his hips to the floor, by putting in 20, 30, 40 seconds on this first round, it completely shifts the dynamic of the overtime, and he will be winning this fight.
He's gone straight for the sub.
He's gone onto the neck here. If he taps him out now, it is done. He's tapped. It's done. After being dominated for the majority of the regulation time, he snatches the sub in the first couple of seconds of overtime. Fair play to Alex. He did everything right. He kept himself safe, and he got the win.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please give it up for an incredible fight here at Brown Belt. Ladies and gentlemen, after going through all of regulation time, we hit the first round of overtime. And Alex Salisbury gets the submission, no winner. Over the red corner, and icon BJJ in this medium heavy no-gi matchup.